So I've talked to a ton of composers who have honed their skills, they know the music, they are practicing their mock-up chops, but they feel like that there is this gap that's stopping them from getting from where they are now to, work opportunities, paid gigs. And that gap is where I often see composers lose motivation. They feel like nothing that they do is working, nothing that they do is helping them get the results that they're looking for. And for those of you who don't know, I'm currently tutoring for ThinkSpace Education, the orchestral composition bootcamp, and we just finished cohort 3. And at the very end, we have this wrap-up session where we kind of talk about what to do now. And a lot of composers just weren't too sure, like, what's next? What's the next step? And the number one thing that I want to recommend to anybody, whether you're just, coming out of school and you don't know what to do, or you feel stuck, you feel like you're stuck in a rut, everything that you're doing is just not working. And the number one tip is to try and create a music mastermind. This is a small group of like-minded musicians, composers who are at a fairly similar stage as you. The idea is to connect with people who can help you problem solve, they can help you grow. And if you feel like you are stuck and you just don't know what to do next, these are the people that can actually help you gain some sort of clarity, some sort of direction, on a pretty consistent basis. So I wanted to record this video because I am personally part of my own music mastermind group, basically an accountability group. It's just 4 of us. It's me, Zach, Cheska, and Orly, and we've been kind of meeting once a month for all of 2024, definitely a few months at this point. And it's one of the core things that I look forward to every single month whenever I, feel stuck in my music, in the business, and I just need to bounce ideas off of people. So the point of this video is so that we can go over some of the benefits, maybe how you can create one yourself, and maybe how you might want to structure it. So let's start off with the benefits of a music mastermind. Remember, these are people who are there to help you stay accountable. And that's probably the number one thing, the most invaluable thing that you can expect from connecting with a group of like-minded composers, musicians, individuals. They will keep you accountable for actually reaching your goals. They'll keep you accountable for sustaining progress towards those goals. A lot of the time, I will go with some sort of problem that I'm just not able to figure out, and someone will say something. They might not even realize that it's like the key or the solution that I didn't know I was looking for. And that one sentence could just click and everything changes, my viewpoint changes. And it's just an incredible way for all of us to connect and actually help one another. And the whole point of an accountability group is so that they can help you define your goals and reach those goals. And a lot of times we might not even be aware what our current goal should be. We think more abstract and we think, okay, well, I want to work as a composer. I want to get paid for my music. Okay, but what does that actually look like? What are the steps that you're doing right now to actually get there? And more often than not, this accountability group will help you define those goals and gain a little bit more clarity. Now, setting up and creating a music mastermind or some sort of accountability group does not have to be hard. We don't have to overthink it at all. You just have to think about, who are your current connections? Did you go to school or did you finish a recent course specifically about music? Are you part of any clubs or groups that, where you share some sort of similar interests, maybe a friend group or even social media connections? The one that I'm part of right now, we have actually yet to meet in person, but we've all kind of met each other through a mutual connection, or, I know a friend of a friend. Honestly, it was because we all create YouTube content, so we all kind of gravitated towards one another. So we understood the challenges and we understood the relatively similar goals that we're all trying to achieve. So I'm trying to look back at how the group I'm part of kind of formed over time, and I know that I would talk to Zach one-on-one, and that was already a fantastic step for me because, we would kind of help each other out. And then I believe he introduced me to Orly, and eventually like the three of us kind of got together once or twice, and then we said Cheska would be a fantastic addition. So kind of the four of us would get together once a month and, over Zoom. And that was just a great way to stay connected, to talk about what we were going through and get just different viewpoints as to how we wanted to move forward in our careers. And honestly, that was it. It was a very simple process that kind of naturally evolved over time. I would recommend that if you are putting one together or you're trying to think of how you want to create this group, I would personally limit it to maybe 4 to 5 people, because right now it feels very much like we all have a chance to speak without having to talk over one another, without having to wait patiently, for 10 people to talk before it's your turn. So I would say that 4 to 5 people allows for a certain level of intimacy, and it also allows for people to speak, for people to kind of chime in without it being too much interruptions, which I have found is really, really great. Now, the difference between a mastermind and just a group of friends getting together on Zoom is that there has to be some sort of structure to the meeting. It doesn't have to be like so serious. Of course, you want to share your struggles, you want to share the challenges, but at the same time, I look back and I consider these people my friends. So I want to talk about life. I want to talk about what's been going on, even outside of the business, outside of music, because you want to let people in so that they can know who you truly are, so that they know how to help you even better, if that makes sense. So the way that we structure ours is that we'll go around and share an action step that we want to take that will lead us to the next meeting, but also help us move forward in our current goal, in the progress that we want to make. So as a composer, and maybe you're trying to get work, you can say, you know what, every weekday, I'm going to reach out to one potential new client. Or let's say you don't want to lose that motivation, you want to keep that creativity flowing. You could say, I'm going to practice for 30 minutes every day, writing in a different genre. And then by your next meeting at the beginning, you can all go around and say, you know what, I started off really great, but I kind of faltered a little bit. Or, I actually stuck to my goal and I actually was able to connect with one potential client and I got a new gig. And remember, it's not about, shaming somebody for not reaching their goal or shaming somebody for changing their goal, halfway through the month. In the meantime, the idea is just having that accountability and keeping the meetings productive. And again, throughout the meeting, you can then, take turns and share what you've been struggling with. Now, the number one thing that you can do to keep these meetings productive long-term is not only to actively participate, but to actively listen. How can you show empathy? How can you show support? You want to be there for somebody else and not just, bombard them with, this is what you should be doing. You want to listen to what they are struggling with and ask them what they've tried, ask them how they would feel about potentially going in a different direction. You don't want to just bombard with your ideas. So again, actively participate, but actively listen as well. And even if you feel like you don't have anything to contribute, anything to offer, maybe you feel like everybody else has these great ideas, like what do I know? You would be surprised at just, how effective one sentence can be. There could just be one idea that you say that completely triggers or unlocks an entirely new path for somebody. And, you don't have to have all this experience to help somebody. You just have to listen. You just have to listen to what they're going through. And we all have our own unique strengths that we can bring to the table, that we can bring to these meetings. Some people might be really, really good at collaboration. Some are better or more in tune with just the artistry. Some people are more driven, more passionate. When you get all these people together, how can you lean into your strengths so that you can help somebody else? And how maybe they can help you and push you out of your comfort zone. Now, if you're somebody who maybe isn't sure what your particular strength is, maybe you're not sure what skill you should be leaning into, I actually have a free assessment that you can take. It's called the Composer Odyssey Index, and this is just a quiz basically dedicated to composers and how you can discover what your own strengths are. And the questions are designed to help you recognize or realize what areas of life or what skills you naturally lean towards. And again, this is absolutely free, so if you are interested, I'll leave a link for that in the description down below. And once you have an idea of what strengths you can bring to the table, you'll have a better understanding of your group dynamic. So definitely keep that in mind as you approach your music mastermind and create this accountability group. You know, I'm looking back at just like the progress I've made towards my goals in 2024, and every time I reflect on it, it comes back to this one group, these 3 other people that I am in pretty constant communication with. And even though we haven't actually met in person, we're pretty much becoming like a group of YouTube creators / musician friends. And we're to the point where we're even planning on doing a getaway. We're doing a retreat, one weekend in the fall, and, you know, just some time for us to really connect 1-to-1 or 1-to-4 and get to know one another. And that wouldn't be possible if we didn't form this group at the start. At the very end of each meeting, we always talk about how much we love chatting, how effective it's been, how we've been making progress towards our goals. And it truly, truly, truly is one of the best next steps that you can take in your music career. There is just this natural dip from you're putting in the work and you're trying to figure out what you should be doing. How do you get to your next gig? And having a group that can keep you accountable, this way you don't lose motivation, is just beyond invaluable. So hopefully you take this and create your own mastermind, create your own group. And if you do, let me know in the comments, because I would love to know how you're staying motivated, how you are staying on top of the goals that you set for yourself. And don't forget that you can take that strengths assessment absolutely for free. So I'll leave a link in the description down below. And as always, happy composing.